Hi, how are you today? Welcome to this new session. Today, last time we have seen the binding energy per nucleon and mass number curve. Today, we are going to deduce the empirical mass formula or binding energy formula from this curve. Here you can see that in x-axis binding energy per nucleon is in MeV per nucleons. Then x-axis it is mass number A. From this curve you can see that the binding energy per nucleon is increasing with A, which is increasing with A mass number A, and it becomes a constant, right? Then it increasing, then the trend is then decreasing. So from this curve we deduce the empirical mass formula. We have already seen that we can also define the nuclear fission and fusion from this curve. Here lighter nuclei, when they add up, they become the larger nuclei. Then that is nuclear fusion. They liberate the energy. Okay, then if you break the heavier nuclei, then it becomes a lighter nuclei. Then again they liberate energy. Binding energy per nucleons increases. Okay, from this plot we assume that for deriving the empirical mass formula, we assume that the binding energy is proportional to the A, mass number A. Okay, initially we assume that binding energy is proportional to the A mass number. Okay, and this A depends on it is the number of nucleons, so that depends the volume of the nucleus, so we use it as a volume term. Therefore we can say that the contribution to the binding energy from this volume term which is B proportional to A, and that proportionality constant we take it is volume, depends on the volume, so we write it as AV, volume constant. Okay, therefore this term becomes B equal to AVA, where AV is a constant that has to be determined, which is already found that it has 8 MeV. This linear dependence of B binding energy on EA is in fact somewhat surprising. Then since B varies linearly with A, this suggests that each nucleon attracts only its closest neighbors and not all of the other nucleons. Karana, we already know that the nuclear force is strong only in the femtometer region. So we assume that it can strongly bind the neighbor nucleons, closest neighbors. From electron scattering, we learned that the nuclear density is roughly constant. Nuclear density is almost constant. Therefore, we assume that each nucleon thus contributes roughly the same amount to the binding energy. An exception to the above argument is a nucleon on the nuclear surface which is surrounded by fewer neighbors and thus less tightly bound than those in the central region. And we also assume that only the few nucleons are in the surface and they are loosely bounded with the nuclear core. Therefore, we can say that these nucleons, the surface nucleons, do not contribute to the B quite as much as those in the center. Therefore, we are overestimating the B equal to AVA. Therefore, we must subtract from B a term proportional to the nuclear surface area. Initially, we have assumed that B is proportional to A, but later we have seen that only the neighbors are contributing to the nuclear binding energy. The surface, the nucleons are less bounded. So we have to subtract that term from the binding energy. So the surface area of the nucleon is proportional to R square, 4 pi R square. Okay, that is R square. We have already seen that it is proportional to R is R0. You know that A power 1 by 3. Then it becomes R square. We can write as A power 2 by 3. Since R proportional to A power 1 by 3. Thus, the surface nucleon contribute to the binding energy a term of the form minus AS. This for surface term A power 2 by 3. This minus term is to subtract. This term we subtract from the volume term. Okay. So this is the first term. This is the second term. Our binding energy formula must also include the Coulomb repulsion of the protons, which likewise tends to make the nucleons less tightly bounded. Nuclear binding energy is that we are using to bind the nucleons, but the Coulomb repulsion of the protons, they allows the nucleons to separate. So we have to we have to subtract that Coulomb term also. Since each protons repel all of the others, this term proportional to Z into Z minus 1, the proton, total proton, then Z minus 1. This is the Q1, Q2, right? And we may do an exact calculation. Assuming a uniformly charged sphere, so we have the equation 3 minus 3 by 5 E square by 4 pi epsilon 0 R0 Z into Z minus 1 by A power 1 by 3. So for a uniformly charged sphere, this is the Coulomb repulsive force, where the negative sign implies a reduction in binding energy. The constants evaluate to 0.72 MeV with R0 equal to 1.2 femtometer. Okay, constant AC Coulomb term, Coulomb constant. So we also subtract this term. From our study of the distribution of stable and radioactive isotopes, that the stable nuclei have Z approximately equal to A by 2. That have equal number of protons, half proton number, which is A by 2. Therefore, we have to consider this term also if we are finding a binding energy for a stable nuclei. This term is very important for light nuclei, for which Z equal to A by 2 is most observed. For heavy nuclei, this term becomes less important. So because they have large number of neutrons, because the rapid increase in the Coulomb repulsion term requires additional neutrons for nuclear stability. A possible form for this term called symmetry term, because it tends to make the nucleus symmetric in protons and neutrons. Our term minus A symmetry into a minus 2z whole square by a, which has the correct form of favoring nuclei with z equal to a by 2 and reducing in importance of large a. നമുക്ക് ഈ ടേമും കൂടി സബ്ട്രാക്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതായിട്ടുണ്ട്. However, when both z and n are odd, we gain binding energy by converting one of the odd protons into a neutron, vice versa, so that it can now form a pair with its formerly at odd partner. We find evidence for this pairing force simply by looking at the stable nuclei found in nature. There are only 4 nuclei with odd n and z: 2h, 6li, 10b, 14n, but 167 with even n and z. This pairing energy delta is usually expressed as plus ap pairing constant a power minus 3 by 4 for z and n even, minus ap a power minus 3 by 4 z and n odd, and 0 for a odd. So combining these 5 terms, we get the complete binding energy B equal to AVA, okay, minus AEZ a power 2 by 3 minus AC, this is Coulomb term, this is surface term, this is symmetry term, okay, this is pairing term delta. AC Z into Z minus 1 a power minus 1 by 3 minus A symmetry a minus 2z square by a plus delta. And using this expression, this is binding energy, for B we have the semi-empirical mass formula. Binding energy is delta mc square. So the mass of EZA equal to Zm1h, mass of protons, plus Nmn, mass of neutrons, minus B binding energy of EZA, binding energy of this, by c square. And these constants have calculated as AV equal to 15.5 MeV, AZ equal to 16.8 MeV, AC equal to 0.72 MeV, asymmetry equal to 23 MeV, Ap equal to 34 MeV. Okay, നമ്മളതിനെ ഒരു പ്ലോട്ട് വരച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമുക്ക് ഏകദേശം ഇങ്ങനെ ഉണ്ടാവും. The contribution, this figure represents the contribution of the various terms in the semi-empirical mass formula to the binding energy per nucleon. This is the mass number A. This is the binding energy per nucleon. This is an important question that will be asked in the final exam. So be careful and learn to draw this curve also. Or this is for AVA. B. This, okay, we have initially assumed that binding energy is proportional to A. Then we have written that as B equal to AVA. So this curve represents that term, first term. Then second term represents this curve. We have reduced the surface term, subtracted when we subtract the surface term, it becomes this. When we subtract the Coulomb repulsion, the curve becomes like this. When we add all these terms, symmetry, volume, surface, and pairing, the curve becomes like this. Okay, this is already we have seen here in this curve, right? So that is the semi-empirical. This is the semi-empirical mass formula. This is the semi-empirical binding energy equation. This is an important essay question. Okay, thank you.